All right, we're back at LA Angels Insider Radio. Jason Brennan, Eric Denton, Morgan Spokny, the Spokester on Twitter.
He loves that.
I'm going to keep throwing that out there. You can find me at Jason M. Brennan and
Embrace the Twitter.
Eric Denton at LA Angels Insider. Another guy that we have in kind of our Angels family that I mentioned earlier that is, the key contributors to, what's going on with Angels baseball on the Orange County Register scoreboard, on LA Angels Insider, on Twitter, kind of all over the place. He writes a kind of a satirical, is that how you...
I like to call him a baseball humorist.
A baseball humorist. It sounds much more official when you call him that. Ricardo Marquez, who you can find at I Blog Better. Originally, it was I Blog Better Than Your Mom. I'm just talking about your mom, Morgan. Ricardo Marquez on the line.
Well, I just want to say my mother doesn't blog. And it should be, I blog better than your child, is kind of the bumper sticker that I always see. The mother's never included.
He blogs better than your mom.
Better than your child, better than your honor roll student. My mother, we've been over this, can't blog. So
Ricardo, you there?
This is like a...
Is this thing on? I don't even know what's going on.
And so,
is his name the Spookster or the Spokester?
We can't say spook. That's especially in light of what we just celebrated the other day. It's no bueno. Can't do that.
Oh, man. All right. Well, then do over.
Yeah, do over. I wish it was that easy in life, right?
Ricardo,
what was that?
Ricardo, you on the line?
I believe so. I think I am.
Hey, man, good to hear you again.
All right, good to hear you. So, I blog better than your mom, right?
Yeah, it was an old blogging website I had when I was out of a job, just kind of joking around with some friends, doing some observational comedy, which was absolutely terrible. And that failed miserably. Was it a lot of airplane food and stuff like that? Yeah, I stole a lot of Jerry Seinfeld's material. A lot of these pretzels are making me thirsty, kind of thing.
All right, and now you have you found a little niche with writing fake interviews for LAAngelsInsider.com.
Apparently so. I'm waiting to get sued, so we'll see how long that lasts.
Well, we'll
do our best to help you get sued, I guess.
The more people who listen to this, the better chance it is that you get sued. Now, on top of writing some fake interviews, he's a big fan of the Tom shoes. He looks like he wears karate shoes everywhere he goes.
That's right. Got my ballerina slippers on.
Ballerina slippers, and big Angel fan. How many games do you go to a year?
Last year, probably about, I want to say a little over 40.
That's a lot.
Way too many.
No. You want to buy more tickets and more tickets and more tickets.
40 games. You participate quite a bit in the Angels family that we talked so pleasantly about on Twitter. But you are kind of the Mad Hatter of the whole deal, if you ask me.
I'm actually the creepy uncle of the Angel family.
Definitely the weird cousin that nobody wants to talk to at the reunion.
That's very true. No one likes me.
So what is it that you're working on, and what is a good example of what people are looking for when they read I Blog Better?
Well, what I hope they look for is a sense of humor to it. It seems like there's a lot of stats in baseball, a lot of kind of straight, hard facts, and I just want to kind of get away from that and just write about the most ridiculous things I can think of. So I think I wrote about, there was an open letter to Chili Davis?
Yeah.
Now, you have a long history with Chili Davis. He stiffed you at one point in your life, and you haven't been able to turn the page, right?
I think he stiffed about everybody.
I've heard
Chili Davis.
Morgan is waving his hand.
Not about Chili. I actually had the same experience. Scott Brocious stiffed me when I was little.
Who cares?
Well,
Scott Brocious isn't even. It's like one.
He went from my A list to my F list real quick. Never let it down. The man is not allowed. He would not be allowed at my wedding. I wouldn't allow him at my son's wedding. I wouldn't even.
You wouldn't turn the page for your unborn son?
No can do.
All right,
Would you put him out if he was on fire?
I can't be on record saying one way or another. But
so let's hear about this. How were you stiffed by Scott Brocious?
I was at a bowling alley, in Oregon. He's from Oregon. And that's where I used to live. We're bowling, I go, oh, that's Scott Brocious. I'm a Yankees fan.
How did you recognize him?
Because I'm a Yankees fan. And I know this type of thing.
Scott Brocious in years.
Yeah, he's one. He's one of those guys. He was a role player. I had a couple moments, and I went to go get his autograph. I went, "Hey, Scott, happen to be a pretty big Yankee fan. I'm like 5 years old. Do you think you could take 20 seconds out of your life to give me an autograph?" He's like, "No can do. I'm busy bowling." And I was like, "Well, you're not one of my idols anymore. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be like a Terry Pendleton fan now." Yeah, I'm done with him.
I think Morgan is a jilted, sad fan.
I was pretty upset.
Well, let's hear about the Chili Davis stiff.
Oh, it hurts. Do we have to talk about this?
Yes.
I love this story. It's something I can't bring up enough.
Oh my gosh! So I was. There's actually been quite a few, so I don't know which one I need to tell. Let's see. There was a time that I waited out the players' parking lot, and he signed the kid next to me, his autograph ball or whatever. Pointed at me, said, "Hey, I got you next," and walked away. Never saw him again.
Brutal.
That was one of the times.
I once ran into Dave Winfield randomly outside of an Angel game, and he actually signed my autograph. Instantly. That's all it takes.
That's because Dave Winfield is nice and Chili Davis has an issue signing autographs.
So Dave Winfield, I've had a couple of interactions with him. I had an interaction with him at the All-Star game a couple of years ago where, Hall of Famer, great guy, class guy. He spent 5 minutes with me, cut an interview. Fantastic. I reminded him of a time when he played for the Angels. Dave Winfield and Dave Parker were both on the team, and the Angels marketing group came up. This was pre-Rally Monkey. Came up with the Daves of Thunder T-shirts that they were selling.
It's a quality item.
That's not bad.
It was good.
It was right after that time.
This was back when 13,000 people would grace the Big A on a nightly basis. And one of my neighbors at the time was Mike Fetters, who was relief pitcher.
Sure.
Angels, Dodgers, Pirates.
Goofy looking guy, right?
Probably pitched for about 20 teams. So Fetters would give me tickets on a nightly basis, and I'd kind of sit in the stands with his kid so that his wife could talk to the other wives and things. So I went to a lot of games. I went to probably 55, 60 games that year. After one of the games, we'd go down and the Daves of Thunder, we'd be doing like the Hulkamania flex at Dave Winfield. After one of the games he was pulling out, and this was back probably when Chili Davis was stiffing iBlog Better there, Ricardo. Actually, we used to sit with Delroy Davis too, Chili's brother. Dave Winfield came out and did a pose down for about 5 minutes of Hulk Hogan flexes in the parking lot and signed autographs. Just that kind of doing the "what you gonna do when the 24-inch pythons come rumbling on you" type of thing. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life. But I brought it up to Dave Winfield this year or 2 years ago at the All-Star game. He remembered every minute of it. He was like, "Yeah, I don't know what was going on, but it just kind of came over me."
Were you able to grow that nice Dave Winfield stash?
I would never be able to grow that stash. That is a stash.
That is a nice stash.
Of a man with some experience.
Yeah, I mean, when you got that stash and you got the pythons, why not use them? Right?
I mean, he's one step away from a King Cobra commercial at that point. When you're working those arms,
the alcohol
that mustache,
King Cobra?
Oh yeah, that's Billy D. Williams written all over.
Oh,
I mean, he's as cool as the other side of the pillow.
I don't even know
when
what you're
he's
talking
working
about.
that mustache.
Yeah, that one went right over my head.
You don't know who Lando Calrissian is?
Yeah, not getting you.
Really?
Oops. Hey, buddy. Sorry. Born in the late 80s. Sorry, that was not
you don't have a clue who we're talking about?
No.
Hey,
Lando.
where were you born?
Born in 87.
Was there a rock on top
I knew
of
who
you
that
when you
is.
were born?
Okay, well, first off, you don't even develop memories until you're like 4 or 5 years old. So let's just, for argument's sake, say about 92. So if you want to divulge who this Lando fellow is, go right ahead. But
No.
not even worth.
No.
Not even worth.
No.
Not even worth the breath.
You know what?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
I'm not going to give it up.
No, it's
I'm going to
fine.
let you walk around.
You're
going to run into a guy, and
there's
you're
this-
going to say, Lando, who the hell's Lando Calrissian? And they're going to say, you're lucky I don't shoot you.
There's a thing called Google. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It's kind
not
of
working tonight.
It's kind of a cool thing.
Did you break the Google?
You broke the Google, man?
I broke Google
Oh, how do you even break a Google?
by searching up Scott Brocious.
Oh, you overloaded the server.
Being
It really was a terrible time when he stiffed me, and I never let it down.
it hurts. We should meet every Thursday and talk about how we got stiffed by athletes.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's the thing is, I've probably asked for like 6 autographs in my life.
And you wasted one of the 6 on
Yeah.
Scott Brocious?
I know. If a genie came down right? And it was like, look, Morgan, you can have 6 wishes. I'd probably go back in time and I'd erase that wish. I don't even want it.
You would have used one of your wishes on Scott Brocious?
I'd waste a wish just to go back and erase a wish. So essentially, I'm going to burn 2 wishes just so that moment never even occurred. I know.
You went way above my head here.
Exploding right now.
Right.
I know.
I don't understand why you couldn't have
it's a confounding story.
Why wouldn't you have just said, I'm going to not go back? That would have been one wish.
You want to hear something else I used to do when I was little? I don't know if anyone even cares, but I used to find it enjoyable. So I'd play Madden, right? And if a guy ever would commit a fumble or throw a pick or anything that really upset me, like really maybe killed my 15-0 season, I would go in, I'd basically release the player, and then I'd edit him down to pure 0. So he would never enjoy another moment of Madden stardom in the rest of his career in the virtual world, because that's how spiteful I am.
That is pretty brutal.
And that's ridiculous, right?
It's ridiculous. Madden to me was never as good as Tecmo Bowl.
No.
And once
Tecmo
again,
Bowl, Bo Jackson was the most dominant player in the history of the
I've
world.
heard. When people make
Tecmo
arguments,
Bo Jackson, he was the most dominant player ever.
No, when people make arguments for Bo Jackson, why he was so good, even though he burst on the scene, he was good for a couple. People throw that in. Oh, but did you play with him on Tecmo Bowl? The kid was ridiculous.
You know who else was dominant on Tecmo Bowl? Mark Bavaro. People just there was a play, there's those.
Sure, you found a flaw.
And the people just fall off him. But
sure.
Mark Bavaro, dominant. I'm still trying to figure out. So you go back in time, you waste one of your 6 wishes on.
To go back in time.
Yep. To not ask Scott Brocious.
Yep.
For an autograph.
I don't even want the mental scar
out there who don't know who Lando Calrissian is, who don't know who Scott Brocious is. What would be the equivalent of an Angel autograph you'd have to ask for that's Scott Brocious worthy? Is that Kirk McCaskill's too famous?
He was one of the sexiest men alive.
I'm trying to think of a pitcher or player for the Angels.
17-game winner in 1986, sir.
Right. Yeah.
We're doing the classic broadcast right now.
Okay.
I'm all up on my Kirk McCaskill.
Kirk McCaskill. For some reason, visually, he's similar as a player.
Okay.
Brandon Wood someday will be Scott Brocious.
All right, sir. Okay. That's a bit of a reach.
Is that fair?
One day? So you're telling me Brandon Wood...
Brad Fulmer.
Wait, hold on.
Brad Fulmer is Scott Brocious.
Who?
Fulmer's not bad.
Paul McAnulty?
Yes.
Okay.
But, you have to give Scott Brocious a little bit of street cred because he won a World Series or 2.
And I think he was an all-star.
Right?
Yeah, he was kind of a big thing for the Yankees.
If you're a Yankee and Joe Torre's the manager, you're an all-star.
If you're a Yankee, you're an all-star. And let's not forget, they usually comprise, 80% of the infields? It's just Red Sox, Yankee, Red Sox, Yankee.
That's because there's 9 million people who live in New York. That has nothing to do with
the what's
crazy?
Players. I bet Yao Ming's still going to be an all-star this year. Isn't that ridiculous?
Did he retire?
Yeah, the kid's retired, but he somehow manages to make an all-star roster every year because the Chinese contingency will not let it down. They have to have Yao Ming in an all-star game.
All right, well, we'll talk a little more all-star. We're going to talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame later in the show. Who deserves to make it, who doesn't deserve to make it, who got snubbed. Chili Davis.
By the way, Chili Davis was a Yankee.
Yes.
He was.
He was a Yankee.
He was.
We know all this. This is not a Yankee program. This is LA Angels Insider. Tune in every week. We're going to be posting one of these things. Make sure you tune in and see iBlog Better, Ricardo Marquez, and his thoughts. Make sure you follow him on Twitter.
What are you working on right now for us, Ricky?
What am I doing now?
Right there. Just kind of wrapping it up. What are you working on now?
Right now, I'm working on some of these Budweisers, these tall, cool Budweisers. Other than that, I have another interview with Chris Iannetta.
All right, we have an interview coming up with Chris Iannetta. iBlog Better is going to run that for us. Of course, we always want to thank our fine sponsors, Budweiser, tonight. He's at least sponsoring Ricardo, maybe nobody else. So check out the site, check out iBlog.